Hello, my dear folks. Welcome to the show. Jack Chow on East West with G&E TV. For several times during the past week, including the early part of this week, we're talking about the border crisis. The border crisis being that messy, it is really causing lots of concerns from all angles of the society. And even today, yesterday, and the day before, we had people here to comment about the situation. Today, in addition, we have a face that we have missed for quite a long time to come join us, Kathy Howe, attorney at law of Southern California, on this issue. So you're welcome, Kathy.
Thank you for having me again.
All right, good. So as attorney, what do you see about the problem as the first response, your first response?
About border crisis?
Yeah, about border crisis.
Okay, I think the border crisis has been going on for quite some time, but with today's crisis that, you know, as a commentary made of the border crisis, I think directly relates to the immigration reform outcry and also the recent inflood of South Americans coming to United States through borders. So I think it could be serious, and it could add to a more problem to already the problem existing in our immigration platform.
The problems such as what?
Well, the problem is that there's out of control when illegal immigrants coming from the border. It causes, you know, we have young kids being coming across from the border. Not only is dangerous, but also causing chaos to the border and to the cities coming to, you know, to our society as a general.
Of course,
so because we have already about 12 million undocumented immigrants. So now we have more inflooding of immigrants coming through the border. Of course, it's, you know, it threatens the safety of the border and the peacefulness of the border. Of course, it's a problem.
All right. In your eye, what is the cause, or what is the core behind a sudden surge?
It's really not a sudden surge. I don't think it's a sudden surge. It's been going on. You know, we know all along that South Americans it's very easy to come across from Mexico, from all the border cities, and including Miami. We also have, you know, not only South Americans and people coming to the South America and come and swim, or coming across the desert and going through the borders, and it's an ongoing problem. But the recent hot topic, I think, came from the presidential immigration reform not being decided and not being voted by the Congress. So I think, you know, it's very political driven too, and because of the policy and the political policy and the political trends that probably caused some more information to the other countries, and then you know, people may misunderstand what the new reform might be. So it caused, you know, probably.
You're quite right by making the above statement. It is quite obvious that, well, number one, you said already, it's an ongoing problem anyway.
Yeah, it's been
ever since
ongoing
time
for
started,
a long time,
right?
Yeah.
And then it is by that we mean it is not a sudden surge. And yet, you look around, all the media made it in a way that you feel all of a sudden there are hundreds of thousands coming out of nowhere or something like that.
It has become a topic.
Yeah, it is a political issue, isn't it?
I would say it's a political issue, of course. You know, it's a reflective of the battle and arguments, you know, between the two, you know, Democrats and Republicans, and the general public's view on this issue. as a general regular citizen, everybody has comments about how you deal with the immigration issues, and we do have problems. We do have border problems. So how do you deal with it?
Yeah, that exactly extends to the area about your expertise, because you are a lawyer and you touch lots of immigration cases yourself, right?
Yes.
So what is your reading or your take about our immigration, either system or problem or whatever, the status?
Well, the status is still, we still have the status quo of whatever law is there, employment-based or family-based and whatever, political asylum based. And we have all these categories, and the laws are laws, and they're still there. And lawyers are still have to follow the laws to process each case that come to their table. But it's going to be we're all going to be affected once the new law changes. For example, if we have an amnesty, which means that 10 million or 12 million people will have a legal path going to get an illegal status here. And in other words, that immigration lawyers will become really busy because you will have, everybody has to be processed. Immigration services will get busy, and that means they're going to have to be more short-handed. If you are going to process that many immigration cases just for one category, can you imagine, how busy everybody can get? But I don't know if you remember in the 90s when the presidential order, executive order issued to the Chinese nationals because of the Tiananmen incident, and that became an instant surge of immigration cases.
I see.
And so is the immigration.
Early 90s.
That's in early 90s, in 93, 94. And also in the recent years, we see the surge of EB-5 and investment programs. So all of those immigration cases and the volume are directly relating to the political decisions on each, because they are legislature issues, and then legislators have to make them into law. So and that's what happens, and I think
I of course have no problem with the laws such as the EB-5, stuff like that, because you're trying to handle the matter legally anyway, right?
Right.
But to give a sudden pass to them, even if not an amnesty. Well, I'm talking about a fairness. I'm talking about equality. I'm talking about encouragement or disencouragement. Do you think that's fair to people who've been waited in the line for so long, and yet they get a pass the same time with those illegals? Do you think that's fair?
Well, it's really, it depends. It's hard to say there's a comparison, because different, for example, family, they still have to be processed. It does not mean that they can get the next day. It does not mean that they're going to get ahead of everybody who's already on the line. That just tells you that they do have a legal way to become an illegal immigrant. It does not mean that they're going to be processed ahead of everybody. Everything else will be stopped. So I don't think that's how it works.
In other words, you're saying recognizing them doesn't mean that they have the priority.
It does not mean that they have the priority over everybody else.
I see.
I mean, the law is still there. I mean, this is just a possible new law for them. They have to be processed, and they have to be processed by, they may not have a quota like family-based or some other, direct family-based or EB-5s and still no quota, but you still have to take some time.
So, but they have to go to the very back of the line and start waiting there.
No, there's no line. I don't know if there's a line or no line. It just when you go to a store, everybody come have a legal way to obtain certain good and by paying a fee, but the processes of paying a fee and to get the good is the same in the immigration cases. So if all these people, let's say all the 12 million people are qualified to become an legal immigrant through amnesty or however, or executive order or whatever that new law may be, then they have to be qualified first. Okay, they may be qualified. They have to provide evidence and documents to show that they're qualified. That's a process.
Obviously, we're looking at two separate problems. One being the groups of the 12 million who are here illegally already. One is a group of people, or especially young people, who just arrive here by the illegal crossing.
Well,
the border crisis.
There could be one. There could be combination of problems because for the 10 or 12 million estimated and undocumented immigrants, that maybe some of those youngsters, they are coming across to the border and they may be already the children of the person who are already illegally entered. So we don't know. We don't know if they are the addition to them or they are just separate, non-related, undocumented immigrants. So we don't know at this time, but certainly border control is an issue.
It is an issue.
Yes, it is an issue. Any country, you cannot let the border go out of control.
I see.
So it's just but it's just a matter how you deal with it.
All right. Gladly, we find one conclusion that border control is an issue, but a big one, right? And it is universal. Every country has to do the same things. To seal the border is nothing wrong with that. So one conclusion is made so far. Let's take a short moment out. When we come back, we'll find out what are we going to do with the existing one. So thank you very much.